Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Taste of Gen Z. I'm your co-host Jonathan Ortega,
I'm the far superior co-host, Jake Ruiz.
and today we thought we'd change it up a bit, make up a little light topic for discussion today. We were just going to talk about our own personal music tastes and something that music that resonated with us during our high school years. Our last day is tomorrow, and really we wanted to be able to just kind of resonate what stuck with us, what didn't. During these past 4 years. So Jake, how you feeling about all this?
Well, it really feels like time's really flying here. Especially like this year, no one really expected this coronavirus stuff to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think, the second half of the year really flew by.
Yeah, dude, for sure. So today, we are going to be talking about some of our favorite songs. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that, with the limited time we have, we can only talk about so many songs, but artists as a whole, I think that I've respected these past 4 years go from like Jay-Z to Kanye to Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, just kind of, I listen to I always like to say I listen to everything but country music, right? So I think over the past 4 years, my music taste has changed a lot. My playlist has 400 songs, and none of which are the same genre whatsoever, from Spanish to regular music. But I think, when it comes to discussing someone's favorite songs, it's really hard to pinpoint what your favorite song is, right? Because there's always different moods for songs. There's always different attitudes, tones of what you want to listen to. So I thought it was really hard to choose these two songs, Jakes. What about you?
Well, I don't know. I feel like for me, these two songs have probably I don't know, they've been up there in at least the top 10 for a while. And I think when we were choosing our songs for this podcast, something about them just really spoke to me. With the end of the year coming around, I figured that these would be some good songs to listen to, and for everyone to listen to.
So would you say your top 10 music over the past few years has relatively stayed the same, or you think there's been a lot of changes throughout high school?
Well, I'd say that my music taste has probably diversified a lot throughout high school. But I've always been, a rock kind of guy.
Classy man.
A lot of my top 10 songs have kind of stayed the same for a while. But I think like throughout high school, I definitely, broadened my horizons a little bit.
All right. So I think then we should lead into some of our favorite songs. So why don't you start us off with your first choice?
All right. So my first song that I chose is Layla by Eric Clapton. There's actually two versions of this song. Okay. One was when Eric Clapton was still in the band Derek and the Dominos. And that's kind of more of an upbeat, like rocky vibe. But then, once he got older and, now he's a solo artist, he did an acoustic version of it, which is the song that we're going to discuss today, the acoustic version of Layla, which is it's awesome. If you've never heard this song before, I'd recommend listening to the original one first and then listening to the acoustic version. And they're completely different. And you might not even recognize, the song when listening to the acoustic version for the first time.
Jake, I'm gonna be honest, I've never heard this song, but now you're gonna make me want to listen to it.
Yeah, you really should. It's a pretty great song. If you've never, if anyone's never, you've probably heard of Eric Clapton, but if you've never really listened to any of his music, I would strongly suggest it. So other than that, the song Layla, it was actually at the time Eric Clapton kind of had a thing for George Harrison's wife, which is weird because they ended up becoming like kind of good friends, Eric Clapton and George Harrison. But yeah, he wrote this song for George Harrison's wife at the time, and then he actually ended up marrying George Harrison's wife.
Really?
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, George Harrison is the guitar player for the Beatles.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways, some other stuff about the song, I guess. There's a piano solo in it, which is like 2 minutes long in the original version. But in the acoustic version, he cuts it down and he just plays a solo on the acoustic guitar, which is also, it's still a great solo. And it doesn't really drag on as long as the original song. You might have just seen my sister's head poke out back there. I don't know if anyone caught that, but yeah.
What up, Molly?
Yeah, I have a twin sister.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
they look nothing alike, but go on.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, it doesn't really drag on as long as the original version, which can be nice.
Mhm.
But I guess I don't know. Should we play the song for him, or can we
Yeah,
do
you
that?
know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. I think they deserve to hear what
Yeah.
you're talking about. All right, let's see. So, let me let's get past that. All right. What's the song called again? Sorry,
It's called Layla.
Layla.
Nope. Layla.
Layla.
Wait. All right. That's the all right.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that one. All right, I can no longer hear it. I'm gonna have to turn it up.
Patrick. Okay. Okay. All right, let's make sure we don't get this copyright strike while I play it in the background. Um, so, as we're talking right, how do I? Oh, okay. Um, so as you were talking about before, and I don't know if we've mentioned this, but you tend to be an acoustic man, right? I know sometimes you vouch for songs that I've never heard of in an acoustic version, and sometimes end up being better. So what draws you to that? Do you think?
I don't know. I feel like there's something special about like when an artist or a guitar player just kind of sits down and completely changes the arrangement of the song. It gives it a completely new sound, something that you might not hear when they're playing with an entire band or when it's all electric. Some of the
Right.
sounds might get drowned out, but I think in acoustic music, you can really like hear a lot of the undertone of the song. I think you can focus a lot more on the actual music rather than just the lyrics of the song, which I enjoy.
For sure, man, for sure. I think it's something that's been underappreciated in at least our generation. I know sometimes we'll talk about an acoustic song recommendation, and some of our friends will be like, no, why would you listen to that? It sounds awful. But I've tended to really enjoy them too. So, unless you have anything left to say about this song, I guess we can jump into mine. All right.
Sure.
So I'm gonna change it up a bit. Jake recommended that very classy song, very nice. Um, but I think one of my favorites from the past few years has been "Family Business" by Kanye. I don't know if you've listened to that before, Jake, but it's off his first album, College Dropout. It's about let's see, like the struggles some of his families would have to go through, and not necessarily his, but I think the song talks about overall in his community what families were like. And he describes, 6 kids in a bed and sharing a bathtub with like 2 siblings, and talking about wanting to get a family member out of jail, and talking about at the dinner table, it's family business, right? It's not your business. And so I think that song's really cool because one, it was off his first album and he was already going into very complex issues, but two, because it's just it gives you a new perspective because of how oftentimes we hear about the imprisonment of certain people in certain communities, and predominantly it happens to the African American community, And so we often hear, these people getting arrested for this or for this or this. We often only hear one side of it. But then this song brings up how the family feels that they don't have their family member for Thanksgiving or for Christmas because they're in jail. And we often forget about the other side of that, So I think coming out with a song like this was really inspirational, really game changing. But it's also just a catchy listen to, if you ever want to get in your vibes and you want to appreciate your family, this is the song to do it. Let me play actually, Jake, since I think you're new to this song.
Yeah, I've never heard the song in my life.
Let's play this for you. Let me know if you can hear it.
Crank it. Crank it.
Oh, wait, that's right. You hear it?
He made the team this year. They say he wasn't tall enough.
You got it, Jake? It's real true.
There's some new girl, this is family business. And this is for the family that can't be with us. And this is for my cousin locked down, or the answers in. This is why I fit it in my song. So it speaks like a photo where your granny's picture now that you're gone. Hit us. Super hard on Thanksgiving.
On Christmas. Yeah, so that's definitely one of my few favorites from the past few years. What about you, Jake? You want to talk about your other one?
Yeah, we can if you want. So my other song is actually
Oh, wait, Jake, you want to just cut it at one?
What?
Do you want to just cut it at one song each? I can cut this out. Hold on, let me make it obvious that this is where I want to cut out.
Also, all right, I'll just do my one song and then you don't have to do yours.
Okay. All right.
So my second song choice for this podcast episode was actually the song I chose when I was filling out the USC application for my theme song for my life. It was kind of a weird question, and I didn't really put too much thought into it at the time. But I think looking back on it, it was a pretty good choice. So the song is "No Surrender" by Bruce Springsteen.
Classic.
Really, yeah, great song. It's one that makes you want to get up and dance. It's a song that when you hear it on the radio, you want to sing along as loud as you can in the car. And yeah, it's a very inspiring song, like a lot of Bruce Springsteen music is. Yeah, I mean, it's a great song. It just tells it's basically about two high school kids who have dreams they want to pursue, and they're vowing that they won't surrender their dreams. And I think their dream was actually to start a band, which I don't know if the song is in any way representative of the life of Bruce Springsteen, but I feel like it might be. I'm sure he dreamed about being in a band growing up, and here he is now in a band, E Street, and he's one of the most popular musicians in the world right now, especially in America.
For sure.
Yeah, and my dad also a huge fan, big Bruce Springsteen guy.
Yeah, he is.
Big Bruce Springsteen guy. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
Huge Bruce Springsteen guy. Yeah.
I mean, really, there's no sentence with America without Bruce Springsteen in it. Like that's one of our defining characters, I think, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, if you've never heard of Bruce Springsteen, he's pretty old now, so I'm assuming a lot of people in our generation probably might not have heard any of his music, unless your parents listened to him, which in that case you probably have. But if I had to recommend like 3 Bruce Springsteen songs for you to listen to, if you've never listened to him before, I would say 1, No Surrender, obviously. 2, Glory Days, great song. And 3, Dancing in the Dark, great, fantastic song. And then, might as well just, throw out 3 songs from Eric Clapton that you should listen to.
Let's hear it. He's an expert.
So obviously the acoustic version of Layla. You want to listen to his version of Sweet Home Chicago, because we're Chicagoans.
Yeah. Right.
You'll want to listen to Tears in Heaven, which he wrote about the suicide of his son at the time. Very sad song, but very good song.
Wow.
And then Wonderful Tonight, also another great song. Let me
Island out with these recommendations. Too many to limit.
And if you want to listen to some of his older stuff back when he was in like Cream, Derek and the Dominoes, I'd suggest Sunshine of Your Love. Great song, classic rock song. Can't go wrong there. John, what about you? You have any recommendations for Kanye or Red Hot Chili Peppers, whatever?
Yeah, for sure. My Kanye songs, I mentioned this other Family Business one, right? But God, one of my favorite Kanye songs of all time, Runaway. I really recommend listening to that. 9 minutes. It's a little weird the last 3 or 4 minutes, but overall it's a really good song. It's one of my favorites. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Scar Tissue. Love that song. Really good. But I feel like, if you're not listening to those two, what are you doing? What are you doing? Come on. So, I mean, I'll recommend those because those are some of my favorites, but you just got to give all of them a listen, really. Same thing for Jake's song. So I don't really know what better way to end this episode than with our expertise suggestions. I know you guys value them greatly. We see it in the comments all the time. You guys really glorify us. So Jake, did you have any last minute words you wanted to say?
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys all have been watching these podcasts all the way through the end. So if you've stuck around this long, I would say just listen to as much music as you can, and don't be afraid to try something that you wouldn't normally listen to. Take suggestions from your friends, take suggestions from your parents. It's really just about,
unless they're suggesting Uzi, then don't listen.
Yeah, no. If any of your friends tell you to listen to like any rapper that begins with Lil, just don't.
No. It's not worth your time. It really isn't.
Unless it's Lil Wayne, you should not be listening to them. All right. I mean, yeah. So it's basically just about expanding your horizons and finding out what your type of music is, and finding who you are in these songs. So, I think our music taste is a lot of times representative of our own personalities and the type of person that we are. And I think that if you really search for your songs, then it could be very beneficial.
Right. So what better way to end this episode than to remind you guys it's all about the music is an art form. We all develop our personalities around what we listen to, and really, as dumb as it may sound to some people, music does play a big part in our lives, whether we know it or not. So with that, this has been another top episode of Taste of Gen Z. I'm your co-host, Jonathan Ortega.
I'm the far superior and better looking co-host, Jake Davies.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace. Yeah, it's the last time, fool.
All right, John,